Now, the Fed is meeting. It would send some type of shock into the markets if they talk about tapering harder and quicker than the market's expecting. And that could send the price of Bitcoin and cause another anomaly on Bitcoin. It could send us back down towards that low over there.
What happens if price breaks below this trend line over here? I know that I always wait for the stop loss to be hit. Could this be something different? I'm going to look at the linear as well, but I want you to see what I am really focused in on, because if this were to break down, everyone is aware of the sketchy macro out there right now. And we're going to talk a lot about that today, but it's sketchy out there. And that's fine if I'm late, but I don't want to be wrong. And just make sure that we're all able to, by looking at what's presented, to firm up our own opinions and help each other see with clarity. Right here on Bitcoin for me takes the primary focus. I want you to see what I'm looking at. So the structure of the market, though, you could see this is on log scale, and I just want to show you on the log scale, just taking a look at what's going on. You could see that, sure enough on the log, and it's going to happen on the linear as well, the market is paying attention to it. Therefore, a breakdown over here is something that, you know what? I hope, worst case scenario, we broke down over here, that we take out some stops over here and it's a liquidity event and we go up. And if that's happening, we will make sure that we get back into a position of strength. However, that would be what I hope for. It doesn't matter what you hope for. The thing is we could see something unfold that's different. And if we take out this trend line over here, it might not be a liquidity event, and we might take the elevator down. Get neutral, take profit, and wait for clarity. So be it. Let's do it. Or I'm going to do it, or rather I should be saying to you. Let's take a look at linear as well. At the same time, if you're looking at a break of this over here on the linear, it's coming in right now. Let's call it 54,000. And then over here on the log scale, a little bit higher, but 54,000 is, what do you think? They're giving about the same type reading. So whether you're looking at the linear or the log, I think you should be looking at both of them. Are you looking on the break of the trend line itself, whether it's log or linear? I don't want to wait for the bottom over there, that last low over there. So the low is 53,000. Let's call it 53,200 or something like that. That wick down over there. Right now where it stands, if we were to break, that's obviously going to change as the days go by and this holds, right? That price would be rising. But right now for today, what would you be looking at? Is that $1,000 of a difference something that you wish to get out ahead of? For me, $1,000 on Bitcoin is, I don't know. So that's number one. And this is the most important thing that I'm focused in on over here. And I don't want anyone to know later in advance. But if we're breaking down, I'm taking profits on all my positions that I took coming out from over here, right? This was before the most important trend line in crypto was broke. I leaned in hard over here, and then also on the correction of wave one. And so be it. I'll stay in a position of strength. I also feel like that's a summary of everything that we've always done and talked about. And I hope that we're at extreme fear this morning. And I hope that I don't have to go ahead and de-risk at all. But if I do, I will maintain a position of strength. And I think that's what a lot of people got wrong over here when I said, hey, and by the way, but when I said, I don't know what's going on, get neutral, there were other people who decided that, you know what, I'm going to take risks because I don't care. And then when I'm wrong, I could get all emotional about it. Whatever, that could happen here. If things go wrong, hey, listen, great if we go like this again. You have your spot position, yeah? Good. Oh, by the way, if that happens and then we break a new line of repair, you're beginning to position back in, yeah? Oh, yeah. Okay. So what's the big deal? If you can't take profits, then this is not for you. If you're like a deer in headlights and that the only way this works for you, if price goes straight up, you do not have what it takes at all. Maybe consider just taking a spot Bitcoin position that you feel comfortable with risking and or could lose it all. And then just continue spending your time learning about the financial system in Bitcoin so that you could have more firmness in holding that position for the next 10 years. That might be best for you. What we do here is extraordinarily advanced, and it's the best of the best. So that requires being able to do things that maybe seem counterintuitive. And protecting yourself is always strong. And by the way, when we're talking protecting ourselves, I mean, we're talking about taking nice, sizable profits. For most people, that's the best they could do all year. That would us be like, didn't work out. I wasn't able to push my trade all the way to the top. Let me just go ahead and make sure I'm protected in case we do see the market fall out. We'll see what happens. Right over here is the next big technical breakdown. They're so important. We had the 53,000, right? And then after 53,000, we had the 35,000. And 35,000 was the channel support. Nevertheless, 37,000 would have been a better de-risking point. The next area that I'm looking at is 22,000 on the log scale. I don't think that we break it. Is it possible we break it? Yep. That's why it's a de-risking big technical level. If we break 22,000, again, I don't think that we break it. If we break 22,000, the only other line of support that I have below it is 19,000 on a linear chart. Below that, I don't have anything. And below that, like that's your last line. Below that, it could really get really bad. So 22,000. Below that is 19,000 on a linear. And that would also be breaking that. That's taking out the all-time, the previous cycle all-time high. That brings into question what's going on with crypto, the incentives of crypto over fiat, and a whole host of different questions. Arthur Hayes, we read it together, brought that up 2 months ago in a Medium article, and that would be real. But we're not there. Next big level, 22,000. Thank you all. I just want to take this, J-Boy, this moment just to share with all of you from heart to heart. And, since CTM started, I've put my whole heart and soul, mind, and everything into this community, and just gave as much as possible and gave everything. Starting in May, in April, in May, actually May 14th, even though we spent the live stream that Friday saying if 50,000 gets broken, this is like wrong, get neutral. From there on in, the amount of like toxicity that I received, it really took a toll on me. It changed the way that I interact with all of you. It changed the way. And then beyond that, and at the same time, there were a lot of people that I gave a voice to, that I gave a platform to, that I gave an audience to, that I built totally people turning on me, and it's just very bad. But looking back on that all a year later, it's really changed my ability to be as open as I like to be myself, to share. Twitter, the same thing, the way that Twitter's incentivized. I'm just the observer, and I'm just saying, what is what is. This is what's happened. It's had consequences. There we go. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. So thanks, Jay, when you say something like that. David, anyone else, Pat, for real. Not because it feeds my ego. I don't want to have an ego, for real. I've been as humbled as you can be in life and before my God. So I don't have an ego. I think that the way that I come off and communicate could be done a lot better. I'm working on that always. At the same time, I don't want to lose my edge and competitive ability in the markets, and it takes that type of confidence. Things are good that are going on inside me that I want to be able to share with you, and that's all, and I'll just leave it there.